And all right, welcome everybody to another Trust Engine interview with a mortgage coach, someone that is a black belt, has done over 500 TCAs. Shawn Kaplan, what's up, my brother?
What's up, Dave?
Good to interview you. You were my first interview of this year, 2023, and we knew we started the year with a challenge. Like, we knew this was a tough year, but I don't think anyone knew just how tough a year 2023 would be. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I was saying it a little bit, but I don't know if I really believed it. And then I was like, I didn't want people to think I was being negative, but what I really wanted to say is, hey, it's going to get really difficult this year. So now going into Q4 and Q1, I'm not holding anything back. Buckle up. It's going to be a fun little ride in Q4, Q1.
Yeah, well, winter is always tough. I do want to frame this conversation before we get into exactly what you're doing, because when we prepped, you said, hey, I'm struggling. Like, it's not easy, but you are profitable. And compared to your peers, you're very profitable, and you're doing, in my opinion, you're doing a lot of the right things in this market. But before we get to that, let's just talk a little bit about this interview, where you were sharing a big idea, where you recruited a new builder, and going from memory, you picked a specific builder. They were like a friend that you had been trying to get business from for like ever. Yeah. And you picked a property. Guys, I don't know how well you can see this little video down here, but he actually recorded a video on site at a build for a builder. He created a TCA with the strategy to help that builder. Oh yeah, here we go. There's a little better view of it. And it was just like, I kicked off the year. By the way, this has been watched over 1,000 times. Was like, nice. This was a really smart strategy in January. But like, now that we see how much of new construction is, I think it's like almost 30%, 27% of purchases are new construction.
Yeah, that's like half of my pipeline.
Is it? So it's 50%. So you look like a genius. So give me an update on this story. And by the way, guys, we put a link to this. If you watch this on YouTube, we'll put a link to this video. It's only 18 minutes, and it was brilliant in January. It's even more important, really, for the next 2 years in mortgage. But go ahead, give us an update.
18 minutes, TED Talk style. I had to come in.
I think I put that pressure on you too. I think right. Said, hey, you got 18 minutes.
Hey, two things. Okay. First of all, perception is not reality. We look at social media, we look at the interview, whatever. Two things. Number one, I'm not a genius. And number two, I'm not killing it. At least I don't feel that way some days. So I've been in the business for 22 years, Dave. And I'll tell you, I think this is my toughest time I've ever had. But I'm more excited than ever, because like back in January, I feel the opportunity. And what's cool is I've taken that opportunity, and it's actually growing into more need right now than ever. So I'm prepped and I'm ready for it. So those of you that have gone after and had a builder plan, tried to use, MortgageCoach to put yourself in front of it, don't give up, because they need us more than ever right now. Right. So with builders, back in January, recap on that conversation, we talked about, hey, I knew some of these builders. I knew that they kind of had just a regular general run-of-the-mill lender that was their preferred lender, probably because they were a friend or they were paying something. And I wanted to go in and differentiate myself. So I recorded that video, did a MortgageCoach with it. I did the video like Reels format kind of, and went and presented it to them, and we got the account. Here we are now in August, almost September. And I think we've closed a little over probably 30 transactions with that builder so far, year to date.
What?
Yeah. I've got hooked one of my loan officers up with the account. We were in their builder meeting yesterday. We presented to their 12 realtors yesterday. Because builders right now, you got to think like a builder. Their bottom line, they want somebody that's going to protect their bottom line. So we went ahead and put steroids on it. And what we did was we went and called it our builder blueprint. And we come in with like a package, and we say, hey, these are our value adds, and MortgageCoach is at the top of that list. And then we show them an example. We also talk about our weekend coverage. We talk about, helping them partner with open houses, giveaways. So our social media, we put on there how many people watch our social media. And the main thing is, and I'll show my cards with y'all, and we are profitable, but what I'm doing is two things. Shayla Gifford taught me this. And so I did steal it from her and got to give her honor. But instead of calling it a 3-2-1 buy down or a 2-1 buy down, we call it a payment advantage plus or payment advantage program. And we created a marketing piece around it that's easy for the client to read. I actually took it all and put it in Chat GPT and I said, rewrite this at a 5th grade reading level. And then I took that and I put it in the marketing piece, and then I accompanied a mortgage coach with it, which I'm going to show you in a moment, which just helped me lock a deal yesterday. And so that payment advantage and that payment advantage plus, I partner with the builder, and how I get my foot in the door is I'll say 2 things, and everybody should write this down. 1, I call the builder, Dave, I've been waiting to make this phone call for 12 months now. You know why I've been waiting to make the phone call for 12 months? Because I saw you did link up with one of my competitors about a year ago. I know it's probably a 12-month commitment. I want to know if I can have 15 minutes of your time, because I think I can protect your bottom line and keep more money in your pocket. And what I'm doing is the second thing I do is I half that buy down with them. So I'm allowed to do concessions here at my company. So if it's 2% to do the buy down, I pay 1%, they pay 1%. Instead of reducing the price of the home or doing a deep discount. And now I'm able to show people they can get a 3 or 4% starting rate. And that's how I'm kind of attacking builders. And now I have a list, because so many of them need your help right now. Now I'm going out there and I'm picking which ones I want to go after. I have 5 on a list right now that I'm going to go and do the same thing with in each different market. That way I'm not right down the road doing the same thing with one of their competitors. And guess what I say when that guy doesn't want to take my appointment? Hey, I completely understand, Dave, but there's a builder around the corner in Brookhaven that I could go meet with tomorrow or next week. I wanted to call you first, man. And they take the appointment every time.
Absolutely love that. So guys, this is something you should rewatch. That is a great script. We should make some micro content around this. I do want to do this interview around the 10X strategy that I'm currently doing. So anyone watching this, go to mortgagecoach.com/10X. And this will be part of our playlist, this whole video. And we'll get at least one script, one piece of micro content that's both in our playbook and our playlist. So, before we go off this strategy, I do want to do one thing, because I really want to make sure people go through the lesson from January. And I do believe Shayla watched this one from January, and she loved it. I can't remember exactly what she said. Here is the link from the TCA in January. So I just want everybody to realize this video, this TCA, and he also did, going from memory, create an Instagram post. So you walked into that meeting with a builder that you'd been chasing for a decade. You were prepped. You had a strategy, you had scripting, you won that business. And here we are almost in September, and it's 30 loans this year. I want everybody just to connect the dots that this 18-minute lesson implemented has never been more important. So I just want to make sure that is part of the lesson here. Knowing that you're essentially a sales trainer in the mortgage coach community right now, before we go into this new TCA that you just used to win a borrower, anything else you want to just, as a coach, anything else you want people to do to make sure they get that lesson from January and they execute it now?
I think the thing right now in our marketplace is you have to be a disruptor. You got to be a differentiator. And so we have to use the tools that are in our toolbox that maybe every other lender around town doesn't have. And I think that's, product, technology, and your brand. We should all be building a brand right now, micro branding versus macro branding. But if you have a technology like Mortgage Coach, you got to understand a majority of loan officers are not using this right now like the way that we are using it in the Mortgage Coach community. So use it and expose it and be a disruptor and go in confidently with the builders, because that's what people want right now, and use this. But, Dave, 30 transactions, average purchase price of 400 plus. You're talking about 12, 14 million right there. I mean, how much time would you devote to something if you said with one tactic, I could make $100,000 to $150,000? Cut other things off your list that you're doing right now that are not making that type of money, and go after this approach with a list of 5 or 10 builders. And I guarantee you'll lock down a few of them and you'll be closing some business.
I love that. Great coaching advice. So
Let's
first
show
of
them the
all,
real example from yesterday that like literally this is just yesterday.
yeah, no, makes total sense. So I want to get another strategy from you. Before I do it, I want to frame it because I want everybody to know, like, one of the reasons why I'm doing this 10X challenge is because the industry is at a crisis. It's at a profit crisis. So here's a little piece of data from just a couple days ago. Like, this just came out. The NBA in the performance report came out, and the bad news is that the industry is still losing money. You know, the industry is losing $534 per loan, which is about 18 basis points. The good news is that that's an improvement over Q1, you know, where they lost almost 2,000 loans, $1,973. So, but here's the amazing news, guys. Like, if you go from price to advice, you could, one, help your company be profitable, which that's in everybody's interest. And two, you could get more loans. You know, like, and here's the data. Like, I'm doing this 10X challenge with NFM lending, and the 94 loan officers that use MortgageCoach are 65 basis points more profitable than the 319 that don't.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a 10% better conversion. By the way, that is the highest I've ever seen in our community. This is the lowest. Homeowners, who has 49 loan officers, they're 6 basis points more profitable than non. So guys, we are at a point in the industry where we have to be more efficient, more effective. If you're a local referral-based lender, this is the time to upgrade. It's the time to do strategies like Shawn just did with builders. It's the time to innovate and upgrade everything that you're doing. So let's, first of all, anything to say to that before we pivot to, like, hey, what exactly are you doing to be closing 18 loans in this market? Anything else you want to say?
Well, I would say, you know, look, I'm not a giant. Are you there?
Shawn will be back in a minute, everybody.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me, Dave? All right, cool.
So go ahead, Shawn. Anything else you want to add around what I said before we get into exactly other strategies and things that you're doing in this market?
Yeah, you know, so I'm not lighting the world on fire, and I'm not a giant branch. I'm at a really big company. But for me, what I'm really proud of is we're giving a really high level of service and we're profitable. So I profited 37 basis points at my branch here last month on those 18 loans. So, you know, as long as I'm not losing money right now, I'm pretty happy. But at 37, I'm really happy. And Cross Country told me, they said I'm in the top percentile as far as profitability. And it's because of MortgageCoach. The key is everyone should be converting at a 70% lead to credit pull. And you should be 50% appointment, either in front of them on Zoom or in person, or having them watch your MortgageCoach recorded video, is my opinion. If you can get 50% of all of your credit pulls to view your MortgageCoach or meet with you on Zoom, your conversion rate will go up and your profitability will go up, because you're going to be a disruptor and a differentiator. The other thing I think you asked me about, Dave, earlier was, you know, use the tools and products we have that maybe the guy down the road doesn't. We have a home equity line of credit here, and I previously hadn't done a lot of these, but it's automated. I don't have to touch it. And I've used innovation, MortgageCoach, and social media to get that out in front of more people. And we've taken 371 applications. We've closed a little over $10 million in home equity lines of credit. And that's helped out that bottom line. So use the tools that you have at your advantage that maybe the other people down the road don't have to boost your profitability right now.
So, by the way, I would love to know from the MortgageCoach community, you know, how many other people are doing strategies like that. You know, like you're using unique products that you have within your company as an advantage to get incremental loans in this market. I mean, obviously, that many apps, that many loans is huge, you know, like that. And here's the deal. I don't know exactly how much you're making from that, but you're improving your retention. You know, you're addressing the need of your customer, something that we teach in, you know, this 10X training. So speed, did you hear the whole speed to lead?
Yeah. Yeah.
So guys, it's 2023 in the new elevated, most important thing you can do as an originator is speed to need. You need to be there first, but you need to get to the need of the consumer. And what Shawn's doing is a perfect example. People have equity, people have needs. He's getting to that need. He's addressing it with a unique loan program. So anything you want to add before you share? I know you got another strategy to share.
That speed to the need, like this weekend, the strategy I'm going to show you. So this weekend I got the initial phone call and I told the client I was able to get, take the call. And I told him, I said, I can't get you specific numbers right now, but what I can do is get you a rough ballpark idea of what it's going to look like. And I would encourage everybody to start using the MortgageCoach app on your phone. So this MortgageCoach that you're going to see in a second, I originally created on Saturday just to get the client the introduction, build the rapport, differentiate myself. They had already talked to another local bank. And by the time she got this, and I included the realtor and texted it back to them, I was way above the competition. The other guy was blocked out by Sunday when they were negotiating the offer. And then we met and we locked him yesterday and went over this TCA that you're going to show.
Cool.
So use the phone app.
Yeah, walk us through it. Show us the TCA.
So this client walked into my builder community on Saturday. They went and they were going to go in and try to offer a little bit less for the property. They were going to come in at like $610,000. And so thinking to protect my builder and get the client the best deal, I said, well, could I offer you some professional advice and maybe to look at it from a different angle? They were going to do 20% down. They had been quoted 7.125 by my competitor. I said, why don't you leave it at 629.9? I said, currently we already pay a 2-1 buy down on this. So I pay 1%, builder pays 1%. I said, but why don't you go in and see if they'll go ahead and give you the house and pay an additional 2% on it, and we can do a 3-2-1 buy down. So they did go back into my builder. I think this one actually was listed at 619. And when they countered, the builder said, we'll do it at 629 and we'll pay for your 3-2-1 buy down. So I showed the lady, I said, look, I can get you a 3.825% interest rate. And she wanted to end up putting down $140,000, which is 20%. And I said, why don't we just go ahead and just put 10% down and pay off the $32,000 car that was $1,006 a month. Right there between those two things, lights out. She goes, oh my gosh, it's a $3,100 payment. The $1,000 car payment will be gone. I said, yeah. And I said, now this is going to go to a 4.825, then a 5.825. It'll go up each year, but you can refinance it. And we were done. So this payment was $964 less than it would have been at a 7.125. I think we lost Dave again.
Man,
I wowed you so much. I wowed you so much, Dave. I just knocked you off the internet.
Yeah, no, well, I want to call out a few things, guys. First of all, creativity. Two, an expert at understanding all the options, an expert explaining all of the options. And then two, he's showing lower rates, like much below the market. So I love this. By the way, do you always call them options, or do you ever call them, like I've seen a lot of loan officers call them strategies, but do you always use the word option?
Well, when we were pre-approving this, we had payment advantage and payment advantage plus. And then in the third column, I had the 7.125. That's what I did on my phone. But then when I met with her on a lock appointment, I switch it to options. So on my lock appointments, I call it option. In the beginning, when I'm meeting with a client, I call it payment advantage to differentiate myself.
Yeah, and guys, it's so easy. I mean, everything that he's talking about could be updated on a mobile phone. If you have your team can update it. I have a lot of folks, and you go ahead and stop sharing your screen unless there's something else you want to show there.
No. I mean, I think that's the thing. Yeah.
Go ahead. I do want you to show your advice engine, where these create, because I want people to see how many TCAs you created versus how many times they've been viewed. I think there's a lesson in that.
You're talking about this screen here where you originally first were telling me for like 2 years, you're like, Shawn, just create one TCA, please. And I was like, Dave, I will, Dave, I will.
I had to chase you for years. He's been successful for a long time, but he wasn't optimizing his success. And I was like, bro, there's another level. Become a mortgage coach. And he finally did it. And look at that. He's a black belt. 507 reports created, viewed 3,989 times, guys. That's on average, his TCAs are getting viewed 8 times. So he's being very strategic around how he's sharing these. Anything else you want to say before we
Don't make the
transition
same
to another
mistake
question?
I did. Don't make the same mistake I did. My new loan officers, I'm like, if I would have done this, Dave, 5 years ago, I mean, my life would have been a lot easier right now. So thank you for just pushing me. But please, 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 if you find that you're slow, you're using it once in a while, you're really, really missing out. And this is coming from a simple-minded dude over here. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated.
Dude, you're not a simple-minded dude, but I get it. I love your humility. I want to remind people, I want to give 2 more lessons and then ask another question, Shawn, as we go into wrap-up mode. So first of all, mortgagecoach.com 10x. If you're not a mortgage coach, you can sign up right here. And then there's all the training you need. Like if you want to, learn from Jeremy Forcier, who I think is also part of, he helped inspire you to become a
Yes,
mortgage coach.
absolutely.
Shayla Gifford, who, has inspired you. These are all part of the training. Like you could click on this link and you can watch a full 1-hour training conversation where it's not only that mortgage leader who's in the trenches winning in this market, but one of our trainers. And then there's a whole playlist. Like you want to go from loan officer to mortgage coach. We have everything you need right here.
I would calendar map each one of those over the next 4 weeks and put one of those at least a week in your calendar and watch it. It's free and you'll pick up some value adds in your business right now when it's needed.
by the way, that was the vision, like create a 6-week transformational training program where anyone, whether they are an enterprise client of ours or not, they've got this place where every week they could get a 1-hour lesson that would be transformational to their career. And then guys, all in this you need to learn how to use Mortgage Coach and a link to all of our daily trainings, like how to use the technology all in one place. So here's a couple of things. I really want to hit home. Part of becoming transformational in this business and innovating, and as Shawn said, disruptive, is to go from speed to lead to speed to need. Like this is the new masterclass everyone needs to have. Sometime it's a renter who's on a fence and you need to get them to get off the fence and into escrow. And our rep versus own helps you do that. There's a lot of household hostages and accidental, landlords that feel trapped by their current rates. They want to move up, but they don't want to move up in this market. You need to be a master at all of these things. So 2 questions. One, if people were going to just get one extra loan this month and get it in a way that's scalable, what would be your one idea that, like, just quick 1-minute idea to get more business from, borrowers? And then I'm going to ask you the same question. If you wanted to recruit one more realtor or builder in this market, what would it be? What's your borrower? One more borrower a month.
I like to take the same technique sometimes and replicate it and use it in just a slightly different way. Find you a top realtor that you've been chasing, that you want to be different, and bring something of value to them that they can't ignore and they cannot deny. Go and find a great agent in your market and go into the Mortgage Coach and do a partner TCA. You can create it under partner in this partner TCA and do it on one of their listings. So there's my payment advantage versus a price reduction versus a rate reduction, price versus rate, and then give it to them, text it to them, email it to them, ask them if they're doing an open house. I guarantee you'll get the attention of that realtor, and just ask them if you can have the opportunity on that property to help anybody that comes in. You understand they already have a lender. You don't want to replace them. You just want to bring some additional value and more closings and more clients to the table.
Love that. So I'm going to share another idea to recruit a realtor and tell me what you think of this. So this came from an interview I did last month. For anyone who's here heard me play this, I play it a lot. but it's a little clip from Shay Jenkins.
I was going after this huge, one of the top agents in Denver. And I had been trying since I was an assistant, I had been trying to get this person. And finally the poor girl gave me a break and was like, Lord, like, here you go, take this one lead. And I took the lead and I did a mortgage coach. And I was just like, you know what, why not? I'm going to CC the agent on here. And then that's when the agent picked up the call and she's like, are you serious? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, what, mortgage coach? And I was like, you're the top agent. You've never seen this before? And she's like, absolutely not. She's like, this is amazing. She's like, would you be able to do this with all my buyers? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, that's so cool. And again, in her head, I think she was thinking, I'm up all night creating this massive presentation with all these numbers and graphs. And I got her business and she's one of my top agents now.
Nice.
So I don't think I need to ask if that's ever happened, but like, is there any advice you have in how you loop in a builder or an agent to increase the odds of making that happen? Any advice?
Yeah, I would say one thing I want to work on and do better, Dave, is when I do send that TCA, especially on the weekends, is popping open that phone and recording a video and explaining it a little bit more, because then it puts a face with a name and the realtor, and send it to the realtor and the client. I think that's a big differentiator and something I need to do better. I think in my report, we saw that I haven't, done only about 40 of those. So I want to do more.
Well, it's 49, so don't be so hard on yourself.
49.
Or, and by the way, in the interview with Shay, she called that out. Like, I started doing video early on, and that was one of the things that the realtor called out. Like, that video spreadsheet was amazing, and so I do think numbers, strategies, video, it is like a 1, 2, 3 punch.
Yeah. And it's a great tool, because if you come back in the office, they didn't get the offer. Maybe later in the week, all of a sudden on a Thursday, you notice that they've watched the video again, they went in there. It gives you a great reason to follow up that afternoon versus just calling and hassling people. You're calling when you know they're engaged with your mortgage coach.
Yeah. All right, bro. Well, I know I've had a little bit of a rough internet today, but I think we got a killer video. I think we'll be able to create some great micro content from this. Any closing thoughts you want to share with, my guess is you'll have another 1,000 people watch this interview. For the thousands of people that watch it, any closing thoughts?
So I think that everybody right now, I want to encourage you to continue to work on these top of the funnel activities. Work on things where you're giving to your agent partners, giving to your client, and not always just expecting a lock and a deal to come out of it. This is where we got to plant seeds right now. We're not harvesting. The harvest will come next year. But I want you to remember that when you're having those dark moments and those dark times, like I've had before in my path and in my career, just remember, no matter how bad it gets, these are chapters that you're writing to your story. So next year you'll be able to say, I remember 2009 when I had a double hernia, no money in the bank, no insurance, a new baby, and $14 in my bank account. Now look where I'm at. So just keep your head up, work hard, and plant as many seeds as you can, and you'll do all right.
Yeah. And, when Shawn and I were talking, he was really proud of the fact that he's gotten his branch to profitability, one of the most profitable branches he's familiar with. Guys, this is not a season to lose money. This is a season to upgrade your skills, upgrade your efficiencies, and not lose money. That's just like winter is here. And for sure through Q4, it's going to be winter, most likely through Q1. And by the way, I interviewed Dan Arowich recently. He still thinks there's a possibility of rates coming down, but guys, you can't plan for that. You got to plan for the brutal winter of this market, so that when rates do start coming down, still don't lose money. Just be more efficient, more effective. Make sure every family is getting a total cost analysis with a video on it. Make sure that you're getting all of the signals out of your database. It's never been more important that you can be predictive. Part of speed to need is getting to the consumer before they even knew they needed it. So top of the funnel marketing and predictive reach outs to clients. Shawn, you're the man, bro. Super appreciate you, man. Great conversation. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Enjoyed it.
Hope everybody got